for Coach about tomorrow's game.
Hey, Matt, can I start with something?
Yes. Hold on a second. Let me hit record. All right, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I just want to take a minute or two to address what we're doing on Saturday, and ask for your help and sort of getting the word out. As you all know, the Hope Lodge is right across the parking lot from Carver, and that provides lodging for cancer patients and their caregivers. It's a phenomenal thing, and we're very fortunate to have one here in Iowa City, especially in proximity to the hospital where so many of our citizens are getting treated. So we have a supply drive set up where there'll be volunteers at every exit, every entrance on Saturday, and they're asking for non-perishable food items, trash bags, gas cards, and grocery cards, anything of that nature. Obviously, we're expecting a sellout, so if we could, get some supplies for the Hope Lodge, that would be very much appreciated. So any information you can get out in that regard would be something that we all would be thankful for. So, any questions you have on the game now, I'd be happy to answer them.
Appreciate that, Coach. And I think you guys all saw I sent out a press release on that supply drive on Wednesday. So if you have any other questions regarding that, reach out to myself and we could get you that info. But let's start out with John Bowenkamp.
Hey, Fran, good morning. When you look at Illinois, where have they gotten better at here? I mean, because it seems like they've been playing really well lately. Where do you think they've kind of improved at over the last few weeks?
Well, I think you have to look at them differently than you did last year when they had, so many guys back. This is essentially a new team in many ways. It's a very talented team. Brad's done a really good job with them, but they had to figure out how to play together, and they've had some unbelievable wins, as you all know. We saw them, beat Texas in the Garden, and to beat UCLA. I mean, they've got some unbelievable 7 wins in our league. So it's not like you're surprised. They got a very talented team, but I think, they're starting to come together, over, half the season. And I think that's what we all hope happens to any team that we coach, but in particular when you have some new guys.
Hey, Fran, 2 of the guys are Shannon and Mayer. They both kind of joined them. What do you see from those guys in particular that they've brought for the Illinois team?
Well, they both can really score, and they're both veteran guys. So they don't rattle. They make plays. If they miss a couple, they come back and make a couple. They're just aggressive mindset guys that you have to deal with.
Mike?
And the 2 guys they got from Baylor, those guys played on a national championship team. What does that experience do for guys?
Well, I think certainly for Mayer, it's a confidence situation. He's a very, very confident player. When he has the ball, that he can make a play for himself or for one of his teammates. I think it was very helpful for Dane to be around that team because he didn't play much. But what he benefited from that experience, and he's gotten in great shape, and he's really become one of the better players in our league at that position, with his physicality and his feel for the game. So he's also figured out how to fit with those other 2 guys that you just mentioned, we just talked about. And so I think anytime you're involved in a situation like that, it's only going to help you understand what needs to be done and improve your confidence.
David?
Hey, Fran, appreciate you taking the time. Aaron Euless is at 12 or more in 3 of the last 4 games. Obviously, he didn't shoot as much last game, but what have you noticed about him over the stretch? Is it just he's turning up the aggression? We've seen flashes of him before, but just from your perspective, what have you noticed about Aaron just in terms of being more aggressive in scoring?
Yeah, I just think he's just way more confident. I think he's comfortable. with his role and what we need from him. He's always been terrific at, on the defensive side. He's always been great pushing the ball and sort of attacking and probing the defense. But, he's shooting the ball well outside. He's making more finishes around the basket. It's just overall a much more confident and complete player, which is, I think we all saw that potential in him. It's great to see it come to fruition.
Steve?
Coleman Hawkins, how have you seen him grow his game?
I'd tell you, I always thought he was good. I mean, I think, he's a big kid who plays, like a guard or a small forward. He can handle it, pass it, drive it, shoot it. He works hard on defense. He's not one-dimensional guy. And he's one of the few guys they have back from last year. He was a factor last year in a big way, and I think his role is even more important now.
Fran, how's Patrick gone 2 games in back? How do you think he's playing? And is this a game where maybe you need him more with the kind of the length that they have with Mayer and Coleman Hawkins?
Yeah, I think so. He played well against them last year here. He had a great practice yesterday. He's been practicing really well. I think he's getting back into it in terms of his confidence. Yeah, so I'm excited for him in this game.
Mike?
Your last 4 teams were a combined 23-9 in February. Now I realize that having good teams is the main reason for that, but why do you think that you've been able to sort of take it up a level? That might not be necessarily the right term, but why have things been good for you in February?
Well, you know what? I think, Mike, you answered your own question. I mean, I don't know that it's anything genius that I'm doing. We had the National Player of the Year. We had, a first-team All-American. But we also had, when you said we had good teams, we had good players. We had a point guard Jordan Bohannon, who was the consummate winner. You have guys like Connor McCaffery, who are just know and understand how to win. But you think about Joe Wieskamp and Chris Murray. I mean, just keep going. Tony Perkins. I mean, I don't want to forget anybody. I mean, I could just keep naming names. Philip Rabracha, how he has been. Patrick. But we just have had guys that, as the season goes on, they are professional. How they take care of their bodies, how they prepare, and how they understand how each team that we play in this league is really good and in so many ways really different. And I think that's sometimes the hardest thing when you go game to game and the games start coming quick, and then you get into February and every game is as difficult as the one before. The maturity of your approach and the professionalism has to be there, and those guys have always done that.
Chris?
Yeah, Coach. I have a question on the 2 Joshes. How is Ogundele doing with the injury? And then how have you kind of seen Josh Dix's confidence grow, over the last couple of weeks? It seems like he's shooting the ball with a lot more confidence.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's just a really good player. I keep wanting to get him more playing time. Sometimes I do, and sometimes he doesn't get as much as I'd like to based on how the game goes. But he's just smart, tough, plays both ends, makes shots, makes plays, never rattles. He plays like a senior. Ogundele practiced for the first time yesterday. He looked pretty good. He's getting real close.
Okay, we'll take a couple more. First, David.
Yeah, Fran, just Desean Bowen hasn't played the past couple of games. What's that matchup thing, and how has he kind of responded to not getting the playing time that he probably wants right now?
Yeah, he's a professional in that regard. I mean, I'm really proud of him. Practicing well. I got to find some minutes for him. He deserves it. But he's a world-class person and a really good player. His opportunity's coming.
Okay, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.